getting some news that the AI bubble may be much closer to bursting than we thought. First and foremost, OpenAI is running out of money. You know, OpenAI, the one that basically spawned the massive use of AI with just about all businesses. Well, not every business is using OpenAI. They basically spawned this. Yeah, so from Pirate Nation, this is a couple days ago. Bear in mind, it's a couple days ago. They're in the red. And at this rate, they're going to run out of money by 2027, having overestimated the profit. Oh, words are hard. Overestimated the profitability of AI. Recent analysis and internal projections indicate annual losses of around $14 billion in 2026. $14 billion loss in 2026, following roughly an $8 billion loss in 2025. They lost $8 billion in 2025, and that number is projected to almost double in 2026. This stems from overestimating near-term profitability as high inference and data center expenses continue to dominate despite strong user adaptation and billions in revenue. Without repeated massive funding rounds, analysts warn the company could face a cash shortfall as early as mid-2027. And there we go. So this is from Yahoo Finance. Financial experts warn OpenAI may go bankrupt by mid-2027. OpenAI, arguably the most sought-after AI research lab, primarily because ChatGPT, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, and don't worry, we have more on him, argues that the firm had a 2-year lead to develop ChatGPT uncontested, which uniquely positioned the company to succeed in the ever-evolving landscape. Everything might look good on paper, but OpenAI is reportedly burning through vast amounts of cash to keep up with the sophisticated AI advances while simultaneously attempting to maintain a healthy lead over its competitors, which is Grok. Their competitors is Grok and Gemini. This is amid a plethora of challenges, including user backlash for integrating ads into ChatGPT. This is recent. ChatGPT just started putting ads into their AI. Now, so if I remember correctly, if you put a question to ChatGPT, when it gives an answer, it's also going to give you an ad. It's going to say this thing might help you, or this service might help you, and inject ads into the responses ChatGPT gives you. That is recent. That's just recently happened. The court battle's embroiled in with Elon Musk, which Elon Musk is kind of like positioned to possibly win that court case that he is in with ChatGPT, OpenAI, for its for-profit restructure and ill-gotten gains. A lack of high-quality content for model training, amongst many other issues. As it happens, cash flow continues to be a pain in OpenAI's neck, with multiple reports suggesting that the company might be biting a little more than it can chew. It should be biting off a little more than it can chew. Who wrote this? Who wrote this? Kevin Okenwa? Speaking English. Might be biting off a little more than it can chew in terms of spending on AI development. The report suggests that the ChatGPT maker could make a $14 billion loss in 2026, primarily driven by infrastructure expansion, model training, research hiring, and computing costs. Jesus fuck! Editors! Check your reporters. They can't fucking English. Computing costs. English, motherfucker, do you speak it? And then, of course, this is a tweet that was put out by artificial intelligence. OpenAI is currently spending more than it earns, with multiple reports estimated lost about $14 billion, blah, blah, blah. Spending continues without new major funding round. Analysts warn it could face cash shortage. I think that's exactly what this guy did. Just literally quote. I think the author literally just quoted this tweet. Last year, OpenAI CEO Sam Altman expresses frustration over the AI bubble talk, dismissing concerns about the firm's exorbitant spending on sophisticated projects to keep up with the AI hype. While OpenAI reportedly generates up to $13 billion in revenue annually from ChatGPT and LLM access fees, the firm spends up to $1.4 billion on computing. It's unclear whether the injection of ads in the ChatGPT's user experience will help bridge the gap. Newsflash, it won't. However, Sam Altman claims OpenAI's revenue is growing steeply. Oh, he claims it is he? Further highlighting that the company expects demand across its consumer and enterprise business, including ChatGPT and future hardware developments, to see a surge in demand. Perhaps more interestingly, Sam Altman indicated that he expects OpenAI's revenue to exponentially surge to $100 billion by 2027, but a report from Tom's Hardware seemingly disputes Altman's claims, suggesting that OpenAI could completely run out of cash by mid-2027. A separate report from last year suggests the AI firm is projected to make an $8 billion loss in 2025, which could potentially raise to $40 billion by 2028. Sebastian Malaby, an economist at the Council on Foreign Relations, said that even if OpenAI changes its strategy and even caters to some of its financial woes using its overvalued shares, it won't be able to wiggle out of this difficult situation easily. To that end, OpenAI made in another round of funding, raising funds from its investors to keep its operations afloat. At the same time, it also needs to establish a clear path to profitability in the exclusive landscape to secure funding as investor interest begins to wane. So, translation, they are hemorrhaging money. They have God knows how much of a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit on their hands with Elon Musk, who is at this stage kind of poised to win the lawsuit, which means they're going to be shortfalling even further. So OpenAI is in the shit right now. They're in this shit significantly. To that point, this is how much money has been trading hands with OpenAI. So this is from Reuters from December 30th. They put out a thing showing, how this money is allocated. So you have Amazon and OpenAI. Amazon is considering an investment of $10 billion to OpenAI, but the talk remains fluid, according to the source requested anonymity. But so Amazon was considering $10 billion. I don't know if they ever actually got the $10 billion. Disney invested $1 billion into OpenAI and will let ChatGPT use characters from Star Wars, Pixar, and Marvel franchises in its Sora AI video generator, a move that could transform Hollywood. As part of a 3-year licensing agreement, ChatGPT images will begin generating videos using licensed Disney characters, but not not any talent likenesses or voices. So Disney, and I think I can't remember if this already started or not. I think it might have, but I could be wrong. So yeah, Disney is now inputting their licensed characters into ChatGPT. So now what do you want to bet that more and more Disney productions aren't going to be done by actual artists? They're just going to tell ChatGPT, hey, make me a movie. Here's the characters, make me a movie. And you're gonna have AI writing even more Disney movies, as if they couldn't be bad enough as is. Now it's gonna be all AI. OpenAI is also partnered with Broadcom to produce its first in-house artificial intelligence processors. So this is for Broadcom, would be for I believe this is for a mobile device. I believe, if memory serves, Broadcom does processors for phones, and they're doing an artificial intelligence processor I believe this is for smartphones, for Android phones, I think. If I'm remembering who Broadcom puts out for. Yeah, like ARM CPUs. It might be for computers, but I think primarily they're operating off of primarily I think they're doing a lot of stuff with phones, but they may be trying to push the ARM chip more for computers. So they've got a deal. They're partnered together. Don't know what the dollar amount of that. AMD agreed to supply artificial intelligence chips to OpenAI in a multi-year deal that would also give the ChatGPT creator the option to buy up to roughly 10% of the chip maker. So AMD is selling chips to OpenAI, plus OpenAI may purchase 10% of AMD. So OpenAI may actually be spending more money to buy 10% of the processor company AMD. NVIDIA, this one's the interesting one. NVIDIA is set to invest $100 billion in OpenAI and supply its data center with chips in a deal giving the chip maker a financial stake in OpenAI, already an important customer for NVIDIA. This is why they're not producing as many GPUs. This is why GPU costs are going up. This is why the price for a graphics card has skyrocketed by 40 to 60%. This is why they're not producing the 5030 Ti? I think that's the one that they're discontinuing, even though they're claiming they're not. This is why they just sank $100 billion into OpenAI. And so now they've got to make up that shortfall. NVIDIA's got to make up the shortfall of sinking $100 billion into OpenAI by cranking the prices of all of their GPUs. That's why GPUs have now skyrocketed 40 to 60%. Yeah, on a company that could go bankrupt in a year. Because all of these investments are fairly recent. These are fairly recent investments, and the company could potentially go belly up next year. And in the meantime, NVIDIA is sinking a shit ton of cash into OpenAI, and then they're forcing the consumer to pay for this investment. They're forcing the consumer to pay for their $100 billion investment while also not giving them viable product. Because they've cut off the they've 100% cut off the what's it called? Oh God, I've lost the word. I've lost the word. They've cut off the upper end of their GPUs, and they've also they have given us no news on a new GPU, and they're talking about bringing back old GPUs. They're talking about bringing back the 3060. I know, I think I saw something about a Chinese company is now going ham on 3060 GPUs. They're wanting people to start, go with a 3060 graphics card instead of a 5000 series graphics card because they're cheaper to make and they can actually still make them because the 5000 series is so much more expensive. So they're actually regressing back to the 3000 series, like the 3060, because they crammed $100 billion into OpenAI. Now, this next one's interesting. Oracle. These reported to have signed one of the biggest cloud deals ever with OpenAI, under which ChatGPT, OpenAI, is expected to buy $300 billion in computing power. Look at that dollar amount again. OpenAI is spending $300 billion to buy cloud computing power from Oracle. Notice the dollar amounts. Notice the dollar amounts here in the investments. Now look what just went out. they're putting their outbound cash flow is bigger than what they're getting from investors. Like by a factor of 2. Yes. 3, they're like, this is OpenAI buying $300 billion of computing space from Oracle. Not to mention, they're going to be buying 10% of AMD, and they are buying the chips from AMD. So this is also an unknown dollar amount of outbound cash flow. In addition to this, you've got CoreWeave that is got a 5-year contract worth $11.9 billion before the NVIDIA-backed startup's IPO. Stargate data center project. The project was announced January by President Trump, who said the companies will invest up to $500 billion to fund infrastructure for artificial intelligence. So bear in mind, don't get it confused. This $500 billion is not going to AI, is not going to OpenAI. This $500 billion is to fund infrastructure, and it is in general. So it's a joint venture between SoftBank, OpenAI, and Oracle. This is not only going to OpenAI. This is going to multiple companies. So don't get confused by this $500 billion going to OpenAI. It's going to multiple companies to fund infrastructure alone. You have Meta? Okay, that's Meta deals. So, yeah. That's what's going on with OpenAI. They're so much outbound money versus versus the inbound money. And here's the thing. This is not the only bad news for AI. Because already this with OpenAI, like they are hemorrhaging fucking money, and they're like financial experts are forecasting that they may be fucking bankrupt middle of next year. It gets worse. Microsoft warns that we must do something useful with AI or they'll lose, quote, social permission to burn electricity. I would say we quickly lose even the social permission to actually take something like energy, which is a scarce resource, and use it to generate these tokens. If these tokens are not improving health outcomes, education outcomes, blah, blah, frickety blah. This is the Microsoft CEO saying, if people don't start using our AI, words are hard. If people don't start using our bullshit AI copilot that we are trying to force all of our customers to use, people might actually start having a problem with it and take their quote unquote social permission away. What that means is that we lose the social permission is if people don't start adopting it, then people are going to be telling Microsoft to go fuck off with their AI, and maybe they'll start coming under regulation. Because they're using so much power. They're using the energy costs are coming so much. If it's not useful, if people are not using it, and people are going to start demanding of their government officials, hey, why are we letting them burn up all this energy that we as the taxpayers are paying for when we don't even want it and we're not using it? And the government officials might go, you know what? You're right. We should maybe put a cap on them of how much energy they're supposed to be using. And then the bubble starts to burst. So, where is it? Area. No, that's not it. Damn, I can't find it. There it is. I have so many fucking tabs of it. I have a lot of tablets today. So yeah, Microsoft CEO warns that we must do something useful with the AI or they'll lose social permission to burn electricity. Translation, the public won't stand for it. If people are not going to use it, if people see no reason for it, people will start demanding that Microsoft starts shutting these things down.
Remember when big tech employed nuclear reactors to power the AI shit? I hope they switch to using them for homes instead.
So, in a conversation at this year's Rich Person Convention, aka the World Economic Forum, and by the way, this was published this article came out less than 24 hours ago. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella warned that AI will lose public support unless it is used to, quote, do something useful that changes the outcomes of people and communities and countries and industries. Okay. We will quickly lose even the social permission to take something like energy, which is a scarce resource, and use it to generate these tokens. If these tokens are not improving health outcomes, blah, blah, frickety, blah. To me, that is the ultimate goal. On the supply side, Nadella says that AI companies and policymakers must build out a ubiquitous grid of energy and tokens, which is the task currently making it impossible to buy a stick of RAM at a reasonable price. And herein lies Nadella's stupidity. Herein lies Nadella's stupidity. He's like, oh, we have to, we have to get more people using AI. Otherwise, people might actually start trying to take action because they're pissed that we're just cranking out energy use and making it impossible to buy a stick of RAM at a reasonable price. This alone is already pissing people the fuck off. Because what Microsoft is doing, not Microsoft alone, but companies like Microsoft, this is why the price of RAM has gone up and people are pissed. And people want the AI gone because it's making it impossible to buy basic computer components at a reasonable cost. And that's why people are get the fuck rid of AI. It's not helpful. It's wrong. 60 to 70% of the time, the AI is wrong. Okay, AI in its present form has a 60 to 70% failure rate. And we are paying out the ass for both electrical power because we are subsidizing these companies building their monstrous energy consuming data centers. The taxpayers are subsidizing them. And the cost of computer components has gone through the fucking roof because of AI. So yes, people fucking hate AI right now. But after that, he says it's on employers and job seekers to more or less just start using AI. So yeah, he's like, you guys need to start using more AI. We need to justify why we're forcing people to pay exorbitantly higher energy prices and computer component prices. So in order for us to scam the people doing this, you guys need to start using the AI more. Because otherwise people are going to go, we don't like paying these really high energy costs and getting nothing in return. And so government, we want you to shut it the fuck down because it's not helpful. It's not helpful and is literally a net negative on society. So government, you need to take care of this. But hang on, the demand side of this is a little bit like every firm has to start using it, said Nadella, throwing in some industry standard hyperbole by calling AI a cognitive amplifier that gives you access to infinite minds. Oh, the fucking corporate bullshit speak. Oh, the corporate bullshit speak is out in force. The CEO added that the AI industry needs to encourage job seekers to pick up AI skills, which is undefined, in the same way people master Excel to make themselves more employable. Yeah, the CEO is also encouraging job employers to use AI for their hiring practices, which AI is constantly fucking up in who it selects. Because don't forget, a lot of these big businesses are using AI for their hiring process. So when you are submitting resumes to corporations because you want a job, it is an AI going through it and not a human. So the AI is working off of an algorithm of seeking out specific keywords in your resume. And if those keywords are not in your resume, the AI circular files your resume. And it does not even look at it. The AI looks for very specific key phrases. Then it may actually forward it on to another AI that will then look further at it. And then it might forward it to another AI or maybe to an actual human. But it's all algorithmic based. You do not have humans looking at resumes anymore. And again, the problem is the AI has a 60 to 70% failure rates. Bearing in mind, we've seen so many examples of AI literally hallucinating. We have seen the AIs hallucinating a gun when it's a microphone. We have an AI hallucinating laughter as a racial slur. Okay, the failure rate for AI is apocalyptic at this point, and corporations are basically allowing AIs to run the front end part of their businesses in terms of getting employees. It's fucking insane. And they're saying, oh, we want you to use AI even more. We want AI to do even more with your company than it already has. That's the insanity here with this. He did provide at least one real example of what he means by all this. When a doctor can spend more time with the patient because the AI is doing the transcription and entering the records in the EMR system, entering the right billing code so the healthcare industry is better served across the payer, the provider, and the patient, ultimately, that's an outcome I think all of us can benefit from. And you know what? I agree. This statement right here, I agree with. I absolutely do. This is an example. This is a singular example of a good use of AI. This is like one singular example. This is the kind of thing that AI could be used for. Because, reason being why, is because with the AI doing transcription and entering records, it is a finite, very narrow scoped thing. Okay? Talking about like with this thing here, database searches, things like that. That is where AI could be useful. Because you know, when it comes to the lack of trust with the AI, bearing in mind, our experience with AI and its untrustworthiness is in regards to basically generalized usage, such as it's searching the internet for something. What did George Washington look like? How many footsteps were, or who was it that landed on the moon? We're talking about like generalized stuff where the AI is searching the World Wide Web. And that's where we see a predominant amount of failure taking place. Something like this actually could work well for AI because it is very finite, it is very walled in, and it's not like it has to go search the internet for anything. This is a very walled in situation where it's like, okay, we're going to do a transcription of the doctor's, the doctor's diagnoses, prognosis, therapy or medication, and it's very narrow scope. It's as a very limited bank of options to select from. It's not like it's going on the internet. But this is like one example of where it could be beneficial. Also, like where if it's like try to access databases, where it's like, okay, all it does is access a database and say, all right, how many overdue, for a billing department, how many bills are currently showing overdue? Okay, now sort those by month, things like that, where you have a very narrow focus. That is where potentially, bear in mind, I'm still not all in on this, but this is where potentially AI could be useful. The problem is AI is being exploded across everything right now. And because AI is exploding across everything, and it's using basically the web to gather all of its information, that's why we're seeing the failure rate.
AI should be used more like Jarvis than a do-all.
Well, that's exactly what I'm saying, Robin. That's exactly what I'm saying. It should be used more like Jarvis, a much more narrow focused. Proper data can do the same work for much cheaper and much faster. True, Desert, but if you've got like a large scale database for some of these large corporations, the AI could be useful in that respect. Again, we're talking narrow, I'm talking very narrow focus. Like right now, AI in its current form is not ready for prime time. It is not cooked long enough. It's not ready for prime time. And that's what I'm saying, like in its current form, in a very narrow scope, it potentially could be useful. But they're like they literally want to vomit it up on everything. And no, that's why it's failing. So I wonder if I'll really want to spend more time talking to my doctor with an AI eavesdropper listening intently for reasons to classify my preventative care visit as a more expensive diagnostic visit. We could just redesign the US healthcare system instead. But at least some doctors, AI recording and note-taking tools have already been helpful. One study says that medical professionals reported tremendous benefits from using AI scribes while calling for more research. And there it is. You have an AI where a doctor is dictating. Because doctors do will use like small little like digital recorders for dictation, and then later they'll chart. AI could be useful in this respect to basically to help with a doctor charting while they're still with the patient, while they can like verbalize and chart with the patient while they're still with the patient, and that way they're not spending, for every 15 minutes that they spend with the patient, they're spending 2 hours charting. This is where the transcribe, doing transcribing using AI for transcription, as long as the translation matrix works properly, could work. Could be beneficial. Could. Again, the AI, I think, still needs to cook. I find automatic transcription tools useful, but if I were banking on general purpose LLMs being as revolutionary as personal computers and the internet, I'd find it worrying how many applications boil down to transcribing audio, summarizing text, and fetching code snippets. There are reasons to be skeptical about the idea we're going to reorganize society around these functions. LLMs are error-prone. There we go. A UK police chief just resigned over a Microsoft Copilot error. I hadn't heard about that. And a recent report by researchers associated with MIT Lab and Media Lab suggests that despite billions of investment, 95% of organizations are getting a zero return from adopting AI. We are going to get into this. But I'm legit curious what this is. Okay. West Midlands Police Chief Constable Craig Guilford, the head of police chief, admitted earlier this week that it used faulty information from Microsoft's Copilot AI in its controversial decision to ban Israeli football fans from the league match. Oh my God, I heard about this. Like banning Israeli football fans. Oh my God. I didn't. That's why they did this? Holy shit! Yes, this is United Kingdom. There was a Europa League match, and they banned Israeli football fans from the match. I heard about that. I thought it was just them being racist because the UK loves the Middle East and wants to, and has turned their country into little Iran. She did it because of bad info from Copilot. Oh my God, I didn't know that's what it was. Rather than his force's failure to fact check a notoriously unreliable technology, he said in a statement announcing his retirement that the political and media frenzy was responsible for his decision. So instead of admitting, yeah, I'm a worthless police chief because I can't think for myself and I literally let AI dictate my duties as a police chief. This guy literally let Microsoft Copilot AI dictate how he, as the police chief of West Midlands, is going to do his job. He's saying it's the political and media frenzy. Yeah. Dude, there's political and media frenzy because you literally abdicated your job as a police chief to Microsoft's bullshit AI. The political and media frenzy around myself and my position has become detrimental to all the great work undertaken by my officers and staff in serving my communities. I have carefully considered my positioning, concluded that retirement isn't a bit. No, just be arrested. No, fuck that. Don't let him retire. Fucking arrest him. I know they're not. I mean, it's the UK. They'll actually probably want to pin a fucking medal on him. But fuck that. Fuck the retirement. Don't pay him. No, he should be fired. He fucking let AI do his job. He literally allowed Microsoft's AI to do his job, to dictate his job. Motherfucker should be fired. No retirement, no benefits, no nothing. Boot out the fucking door. I'd say put him in jail for putting people's lives at risk by allowing an AI. Like, how much more stuff? How many more police actions in the West Midlands have been conducted at the behest of Microsoft's Copilot AI? How heavily did Craig Guilford rely upon Microsoft Copilot to do his fucking job? I say there should be an investigation, but this is the UK. They won't investigate shit. Like I said, they'll probably pin a medal on him. But holy shit, we thought the UK was cooked already. Now this is one example. He's not the only one. I will wager he's not the only police chief constable in the UK that is using AI to do their job. Who, when they need to figure out how to do their job, they're going to AI. Oh, and we thought the UK was bad before. Oh, it's getting so much worse. But, oh yeah, it's not just the UK. Like, for God's sake, children are being taught by ChatGPT. Okay, bear in mind, I'm not saying this is exclusive to the UK. This is not exclusive, like, this is everywhere. Okay? Like, children are being taught by ChatGPT. That is how children are learning it. They're literally learning by ChatGPT. They are not receiving an education in schools. They literally have, if there's a problem, they literally ask ChatGPT. We've seen examples. People are financially illiterate because when they need financial advice, they don't use their own brains. They don't try and figure it out. They just ask ChatGPT, hey, how do I do this how do I do my financial stuff? They don't and this is how children are learning. Children are learning, I don't have to think, because the moment I encounter a problem I can't solve, instead of trying to work it out, instead of using critical thinking, instead of trying to exercise my brain power to figure out a problem myself, I'm just going to open up my phone and ask ChatGPT, how do I do this? And so children do not possess critical thinking skills. Whatsoever. None whatsoever. That's I mean, this guy's not that terribly old, but in other words, we're seeing it in UK police. We're going to be seeing it in American business, maybe law enforcement. We had that one, remember there was that one lawyer who got disbarred because when he presented a closing argument, you guys remember this? I think this was a year ago. There was a lawyer, I forget where it was, actually got disbarred because when he presented a closing argument in a case, he actually cited quote unquote case law that didn't exist. This lawyer used ChatGPT to write up his closing arguments, and ChatGPT injected case law that did not exist. And he didn't check it, and during his closing arguments, he brought up this completely fictional case law as part of his closing arguments in a court of law, and he got disbarred for it. This is what AI is doing to the population around the world. It is making people dumber. We are literally speed running WALL-E. Okay? That is what's happening. We are literally speed running Wall-E. Not just with being like gargantuanly sized, sitting in chairs all day long, sipping slushies, and watching TV while we go around on our hover seats. I'm like just not thinking, letting the machines do everything. We are speed running this shit right now. It should be fucking tech. Well, Desert, take your pick. Idiocracy or Wall-E. In Wall-E, the machines took over. Yeah, like a mixture. A mixture of Wall-E and Idiocracy. More Wall-E because in Wall-E, the AI had actually taken over everything. So that's why I say Wall-E. Idiocracy, it was just, there really wasn't AI. It was people are just fucking stupid. Which, true story. Fair enough. I will agree with that. But in this context, Wall-E fits better. Look, that's just it. It's like, we already had stupid people. But they're multiplying because now the new generation remains stupid instead of being taught or weeded out in the schools and taught critical thinking skills, because now an entire generation is relying upon AI to get them through everything. Literally everything. Whereas before, like, okay, yeah, we had dumb people. Like, every generation has had dumb people. No dispute there. Every generation has had dumb people. But now, with the current, with the newer generations, it's increasing because the newer generations don't have to think. They have their AI chatbots to tell them what they need to know. Whereas before, like, the dumb person could actually become reasonably smart. Like, you can actually teach them at least critical thinking skills. Now they're not even getting taught that. They're not even getting taught critical thinking skills. I saw like a video where the average what is it, like 5th grader or something has like kindergarten reading skills. Kids don't like the children are growing up dumb and they are becoming wholly dependent upon AI for everything. They're reading like you have like 13 and 15-year-olds reading at like 2nd grade levels. They have zero critical thinking skills. They cannot work out a problem. Yes, he worked. This is the video I'm referencing. He watched a video. I watched some of it while I was working, and that's the video I'm referencing. Is there was teachers saying that these kids are reading. You have like middle school kids and maybe even some high school kids that are reading at a drastically reduced reading level. Like again, like junior high kids, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th graders that are only reading at like 2nd grade levels because everything is done by ChatGPT. They're doing everything through ChatGPT, so and faced with the AI is doing everything for them. And this is the adult result. This is the adult result of that. Is that you have a police chief in the UK that is literally having AI dictate police policy to him. And she's doing it. But wait, there's more. AI hype meets reality. The majority of CEOs report no financial returns from AI. Most businesses are still waiting for AI to boost revenue or cut costs. A new survey of 4,454 CEOs across 95 countries found that 56%, more than half, have seen no significant financial benefits from AI investments, no revenue increase, or cost reductions in the past year. So, from TechSpot, this came out yesterday. Despite being advertised as the holy grail for businesses, embracing AI doesn't mean a company will automatically experience improvements. A new survey that questioned thousands of CEOs found that more than admit to seeing no significant financial benefit from AI to date. Professional services networks PwC's latest global CEO survey was completed by 4,454 CEOs across 95 countries. Unsurprisingly, a lot of the questions are related to AI. Most companies have introduced the technology into their businesses to varying extents, but 56% of CEOs says it hasn't produced any cost or revenue benefits. Some CEOs said that AI had led to cost or revenue improvements. A third said that they had seen increased revenue in the last 12 months, while 26% said they are seeing lower costs, but 22% said their costs had actually increased. What my concern is already worried about AI being a bubble is that just 12% of CEOs reported both of these positive changes as a result of implementation. That was the huge selling point with AI. The huge selling point is lower cost, higher productivity. That was the entire selling point of AI. You're going to make your business run 1,000 times better, and you're going to be reducing your costs because you can get rid of all those pesky meat bags or bodies of mostly water, and you can just plug an AI in, and it will do everything for you. So you're going to be saving money. Only 12% of the 44.5 or 4.5K CEOs said that they saw a change. Just 12% of that 4,400. Rather than questioning whether AI is the golden ticket, companies like OpenAI claim to be, PwC's narrative shifts the focus elsewhere. Business with strong, quote, AI foundations, unquote, including responsible AI frameworks and technology environments that support enterprise-wide integration, are 2 to 3 times more likely to report meaningful financial returns, apparently. In fact, rather than worrying that AI might not live up to the hype, the biggest concern among CEOs is whether they are transforming fast enough to keep pace with the technological change. That anxiety is backed up by some investing numbers. According to PwC, 69% of CEOs believe generative AI will require most of their workforce to develop new skills within the next 3 years. Yet fewer than half say their companies have a clear plan in place to reskill employees at scale. And apparently, it appears many leaders are betting on AI-driven transformation while still figuring out how their people will keep up. And here's where it is. They're trying to shove the AI before it's properly cooked and before they have proper human infrastructure in place to accommodate it. They just said, they got sold on, oh, AI is great, just stick it in your company and you're going to go gangbusters. And they're realizing it's actually not that simple and we kind of fucked up. And what's going to happen is you are going, and we're already seeing it, a fuck ton of layoffs. Remember, we heard just recently, Meta laid off, I forget how many thousand people just recently. Why? Because Meta is going all in on AI too. These companies are going to start hemorrhaging people because they're going to have people at their company that have nothing to do while they try and institute AI into the core foundation of their business. And they have no idea how to fucking do it. And people are going to lose their jobs because of it. So people are going to lose their jobs when the company can't even implement the AI correctly in the way that they needed to, where it's not causing the company to hemorrhage money. Also, while large majority of CEOs say AI will fundamentally change how their company creates value, only a minority describe their AI initiatives as fully integrated into core business processes. For many organizations, AI is still stuck in pilot projects, isolated tools, or productivity experiments, rather than something that reshapes decision-making or operating models. So they're hemorrhaging money on AI, and they can't get it beyond pilot projects, little tools, or productivity experiments. They're dumping money into AI and doing nothing with it. PwC's data suggests that CEOs aren't losing faith in AI. Nearly 3/4 expected to significantly improve profitability over the next 12 months, despite the fact that most haven't seen meaningful gains so far. So So this is the CEOs hoping and wishing and dreaming and loving and saying, we hope that we're going to be seeing significant profitability over the next 12 months, just so the investors don't get spooked. That's what this is that's what this is right here. 3/4 expected to significantly boost profitability over the next 12 months. And that's shareholder talk. That's them trying to appease the shareholders and saying, don't worry, I know we're hemorrhaging money by spending it on this AI and seeing next to no returns, but don't worry, we're going to be boosting profitability over the next 12 months. You just wait. Don't worry. Don't sell your stocks. Please don't sell your stocks. That's what that is right there. That's them desperately trying to appease shareholders. Despite the fact that most haven't seen meaningful gains so far, that optimism may help explain why investment continues to accelerate even as results lag behind expectations. The survey paints a picture of an AI adoption being driven less by proven returns and more by fear of falling behind. CEOs aren't pulling back because AI doesn't work. They're doubling down because the cost of not transforming fast enough feels even riskier. They're literally being driven by FOMO. These companies are literally being driven by FOMO of a product that hasn't cooked long enough. The AI got shoved out, hasn't cooked, and now all of these CEOs are being driven completely by FOMO. I wonder how many of them had the AI tell them, yes, Dave, we are going to be huge. Stay with us. AI is the biggest thing. Don't worry, we'll be profitable for you in the next 12 months. What do you want to bet the AI is the one that told the CEOs this? Now, there is one last thing. Let me see if I can find it. I had something. Bear with me a second. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, dang it. Did I lose it? I lost something. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right. Hang on. There is one last thing about AI. I have one last thing to conclude on with AI. The Bohan says users will soon be able to use AI to generate shorts using their own likenesses. He added that over 1 million channels used YouTube's AI creation tools daily in December. Yeah, YouTube is all in on AI. And it's dead internet theory. 100% dead internet theory is in existence on YouTube. Like now, there is more content on YouTube that is AI slop than there is actual actual real user created content. Pretty soon, YouTube is going to be primarily it's already getting its way there. It's primarily gonna be just AI crap. Like actual human content creation is going to become a minority on YouTube very soon. You're just gonna have people just pumping out AI crap, like millions of things per day on YouTube. And bear in mind, it's the snake eating its tail, because all of this AI content that's going on YouTube is literally pulling content from AI in order to create its own content, which means the AI is pulling from AI in order to make more AI content, which another AI will then pull from to make its own AI content, which yet, are you picking up what I'm putting down here? It's literally the snake eating its fucking tail. Literally. With the content on YouTube. And yes, Twitter as well. Twitter is so full of fucking AI bots. It's the same thing with Twitter. Yeah. AI chat. Yay? Fuck, God help us all.